Graduation.
I'd like to call to order this February 26th meeting of the North Allegheny School Board. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will start with our calendar review. We have our regular meeting this evening, and next month we have our work session on March 12th, where we will have a health services program review presentation and a social studies curriculum review presentation. Then on March 19th, we will have our regular voting meeting. We'll move on to speakers on voting items. We have no pre-registered speakers on voting items. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on a voting item this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to the approval of our minutes. Ms. Hardy.
Thank you, Mrs. Warner. This month, the board has 2 items for board action to approve the minutes from the January 8th and January 22nd, 2025 board meetings. And I so move.
Second.
And I would like to take this moment before we vote to verify that Mr. Weniger, are you online and can you hear us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. And Dr. Simkoviak, are you online and can you hear us? She just dropped off? Okay. So then she will not be able to vote on this item even if she comes back on. Are there any comments or questions on this voting item? All right, seeing none, we're ready for the vote.
The vote is open. Mr. McClure?
Aye.
The vote is closed.
I'm an aye also. It hasn't popped up here.
So you were an aye. Thank you. Let me fix that. You don't need to revote. I'm putting them in for you here.
Okay, it's not on my, oh, now it just popped up.
Yep. All right, now the vote is closed and passes with 8 and 1 absent.
Thank you. Next is our student activities report. Mr. Corona and Ms. Faber.
Thank you, Mrs. Warner. The Junior Classical League celebrated Lupercalia on February 18th. They are also currently preparing to attend the state convention at Penn State on May 24th through the 25th. North Allegheny Latin students will compete against their peers from all over the state in a variety of academic, artistic, and athletic competitions. With 238 members, NAI Key Club is the largest chapter in the state. NAI's Key Clubbers continue to focus on service in our school and in the larger community. The students are engaging in such upcoming activities as PTA Bingo Night, elementary board games and homework clubs, NABA basketball tournament, ANSC swim meets, Hunger and Homes, flower sales, and the Battle of the Books. NAI Key Clubbers have logged over 2,200 service hours thus far in the school year. Recent general membership meetings highlights included a donation drive and visit from Shepherd's Heart, a homeless shelter for veterans, and a letter writing campaign to lonely and isolated senior citizens in our community. NAI Ski and Snowboarding Club. Approximately 150 student members from NAI and Nash boarded buses to head toward Seven Springs Resort on January 10th and the 31st, and Hidden Valley Resort on January 24th. Both resorts were thrilled to welcome such a large group of responsible, present, and motivated members from our club. Students were given the option to take group lessons or learn or enhance their skills in both skiing or snowboarding. The feedback from students and families has been overwhelmingly positive, related to preparation, experience, engagement, and opportunity to enjoy skiing and snowboarding with their school community. Tigerthon is a collaborative effort between UPMC Children's Hospital and Pennies from Heaven, dedicated to raising funds for children battling cancer. Currently, they are organizing the Easter egg fundraiser, where they will prepare egg molds filled with candy and jelly and deliver them to registered households, creating a fun and exciting surprise for the kids. Additionally, they plan to raise more funds through a car wash and bake sale. In preparation for the dance marathon on May 10th, they are designing t-shirts and reaching out to DJs and discussing various event activities. Each member of Tigerthon is actively reaching out to their network by email to encourage donations and engaging in this community service to support the cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Warner. North Allegheny Best Buddies and Unified Champion Schools are hosting a polar plunge to benefit Special Olympics. The Special Olympics Mobile Polar Plunge, or Bear Force One, will come to Nash on Thursday, March 20th. Students, staff, and local law enforcement will raise money to take the plunge. Additionally, community members and businesses are welcome and encouraged to donate. Tonight marks the opening night for the spring musical, The Children of Eden, with performances running through Sunday, March 2nd. Students have dedicated countless hours to rehearsing, perfecting their performances, and bringing this production to life, showcasing their talent through music, acting, and stagecraft. Children of Eden is a compelling story inspired by the Book of Genesis, exploring themes of family, free will, and redemption. With a captivating score and a dedicated cast and crew, the production promises to be a memorable experience for the community, and all are encouraged to attend and support the hard work of these students. The Nash Interact Club created a peace-themed artwork for the Students Rebuild Challenge, raising over $1,000 for peace-building organizations. Members also participated in District 7305 Trivia Challenge and Sustainability projects. And finally, the German Club administered the National German Exam and competed in the Bundesliga, Total Soccer Trivia Contest, currently ranking 5th. Upcoming events include the next round of trivia and a Carnival Culture Day with crafts and activities. Thank you.
Thank you both. We all had the opportunity to discuss this agenda 2 weeks ago, and there were no issues among the board members, so I would like to request a motion for a consent agenda this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Does anyone have any comments or questions about the consent agenda? And Mr. Weniger, have you been able to hear our discussion? Mr. Weniger?
I have. I'm good.
Thank you. Then we are ready for the vote.
The vote is open.
Thank you, Ms. Weidman. And while we wait for the vote to come up, I also wanted to go back and express my gratitude to all the retirees that we are voting on this evening. And my children had 7 teachers that are on this list and interacted with 2 paraprofessionals, and I could tell a great story about all 9 of those people, but it would double the length of this meeting, so I'm not going to do that. But I do want to highlight 2 people. 7 years ago at an open house, Mrs. Barbas told all the parents that she'd been teaching for 20 years and had always had her desks arranged in rows, but that because there was a new math curriculum that year that encouraged collaboration, she was going to put her desks in groups for the first time. And I was thrilled that after decades of teaching, there was a teacher that was enthusiastically trying something different. And I was excited that my kid had a role model of someone who was willing to embrace the challenge of tackling something new. And the second person I'd like to highlight is Mrs. McGee, who's, of the people I know on that list, is probably the one I've interacted with the least. And I met her when she saw my family at Mass and went out of her way to have a conversation with my youngest, who she knew from Carson. And it was not the first time my family has encountered a paraprofessional out in the community who has come up to us and taken the time to engage with my children. And it's just one example of how all our staff, regardless of their position, have such an impact on our students. So thank you again to all our retirees for everything you've done to prepare our students for success in a changing world.
The vote closed and all items pass 8-0.
Thank you, Ms. Wyden. Weidman. Let's see, now we move on to special reports by the board. Dr. Simkoviak is unable to join us virtually this evening after all, so we will allow her to give her Citizens Advisory Committee report and the foundation report next month. We received our electronic report from the solicitor. Do you have anything to add, Ms. Lane?
Do not,
No.
that you will be receiving.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Blackburn, our A.W. Beatty Career Center report.
Thank you, Mrs. Warner. The first item I wanted to mention is the spring open house for the A.W. Beatty Career Center will be next Thursday, March 6th from 5:15 until 8 p.m. So all are welcome to go over for the open house. It's usually a great event. I also wanted to say who the January and February students of the month were. In automotive collision technology, we have Zachariah DiAugustino Lackow. We have Jordan Myers and James McMurdo. In culinary arts, Zachary Wynn and Camden Sexton. Emergency response technology, Logan Henkel. Health and nursing sciences, Hetvi Modi and Abigail Leonard. In HVAC, Seamus Grady. Robotics engineering technology, Gio LaMonica. Smartest, Keegan Kolb. And in veterinary sciences, Lillian Young. And that concludes my report. We are going to, one other thing is we're negotiating contracts. That's something else they're doing, but no new news there yet.
No
Thank
meeting.
you.
Thank you, Mrs. Blackburn. I will be at the open house and I will be buying myself a cake from the pastry arts students.
It will be delicious.
It will be. Dr. Shaw, the legislative report.
Thank you, Mrs. Warner. Tonight, there are 3 items in terms of updates for our legislative report. The first is that the vote on prospective Secretary of Education nominee Linda McMahon is advancing to the full Senate. Governor Shapiro appointed Dr. Carrie Rowe, Beaver County local, as PA Secretary of Education. And lastly, a flurry of executive orders have been issued by the federal government over this past few weeks, including matters that touch on diversity, immigration, federal funding, and Title IX athletic participation, some of which may impact our K-12 education. We are working with our solicitors to assess how these will impact our district.
Thank you, Dr. Shaw. That concludes our special reports. So now we will move on to speakers on non-voting items. We had 2 speakers pre-register for 5 minutes. Our first speaker is Lisa Hatch. Please come join us at the microphone.
Hi, thank you for having me. I wanted to come tonight because, as you know from my very lengthy email, that there are a few things unsettling to me, to say the least. I've spoken to a few of you, but if I'm honest, I'm not okay with the answers that I've received. So with limited time, we'll just get right to it. The survey question that we all find inappropriate as parents should have never been a topic for discussion. I spent more time trying to convince some of you and wasted time and energy with something that, quite frankly, should have never made it past this board. I have now been told that the question is completely reworded to something way more appropriate. Why we couldn't start there is beyond me, but thank you for seeing the light. So the email and announcement about the LGBTQ whatever group that meets on Tuesdays at Nash. While I understand that announcements are normal practice for after-school groups, this was pushed a little too hard. Last night, Paige texted me and said the student club sending out an email and being on the announcements on the same day was a coincidence. I don't believe that. Clubs routinely make announcements to remind students of meeting times and locations. There was a push to get students especially involved in this particular club. Why? The email that day was different in that it came from a building secretary as opposed to being sent through Blackboard, the way club emails are usually sent to students. All those involved have been reminded to submit their emails to administration to be sent via Blackboard. Seriously? There was an agenda here. We know it, and it needs to stop. Along those lines, my son has been asked more than once what his preferred pronouns are. I can't. I graduated from NA. I know what pronouns are. This very district taught me what pronouns are. We all know what they are. My son put ridiculous answers down because that's the only way to answer such idiotic questions. I have yet to hear anyone refer to him as he requested, which was Your Majesty. But that's just preposterous, or is it? The question itself is preposterous. I expect that question to be removed from all communication from the school district. There are two genders. Our president has said so. I can't even believe I have to say anything about this as a talking point. It's a waste of time. But now, let's get to one of the more serious issues. Social media on school-issued devices. Here is where I am 100% not okay with how the district is handling this, or should I say, lack thereof. The school-issued devices are not secure. We have been misled as parents to believe that these devices are secure. Each year, my son has to sign a piece of kindling, which is exactly what it is. It should just burn because it means nothing, about how they will use technology. It is not to be used for personal reasons. It is not to be used to get on social media or other harmful sites. Now let's get to a little bit of show and tell. This is my son's laptop from the school. I'm going to open this laptop, and I'm going to sign in. Do you all see what's on my screen right now? Pornhub. Do you all see that? Pornhub on my son's school-issued device. There is not a workaround. We got in, we put his name, and I will show whoever wants to see it here. Just clicked on his school icon, went in, and better yet, there's this other incognito site. So he can get on things like this, incognito, which means once it closes, no one knows it was even on his computer. How is this okay? I know you can't answer back tonight, but you should all be ashamed. This is on my child, who is a minor's laptop. He did not type this in, I did. And once you click that, yes, I'm 18, it won't ask you this question again, because I tried it on the non-incognito site. I don't know if this is going to be flagged in the next couple days for my son or not.
30 seconds.
Should be, but I don't know if it will be. This is not okay. To be told that our devices have been secure or that there's securely or whatever on there, clearly it's not doing its job. So I don't know what you want to do about this. I don't know who wants to take it. Someone wants to see it. Someone wants to do the workaround, whatever other excuses, but this is not okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Hatch. Our next pre-registered speaker for this evening is Xiaofeng Li. Please come to the podium and correct my pronunciation of your name.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Xiaofeng Li. So I'm here today to share an incident that happened at the bus stop in my neighborhood. Just want to share you, what happened here. So we want to bring some, this safety hazard in front of you. So I live in Settlers Walk. And the bus stop is probably like 10 houses down from us. And a few weeks ago, we all know the snow was very heavy on the street. So I have two kids. The older one's 10 years old. The younger one's 5 years old in kindergarten. So the 10-year-old would carry his big cello, lock his cello all the way from the house to the bus stop. And my younger one will follow him. So because of the snow, and he would walk around and then my older one will walk on the main street part, but he knows how he should walk, towards the side of the main street. But then my younger one would follow him, but he would not know, he would not know the danger of all the cars and coming, all the stuff. So he would just follow him. But because of the bus stop where it is, it's so many cars because it's a big bus stop. Like it has, I don't know the number, maybe 20 family or something. But easily you can see like 10 cars at least parked in the morning right across that intersection. Because of the weather, I know the location of that particular bus stop is very far away for some of the families in the around the corner or in the back of the street, like on the other side. So it's far for some of the families. So I know some families would drive their kids to the bus stop. So that creates some kind of, traffic and some safety issues. So I was not aware of this could happen. I was thinking of logically, the kids will just walk on the sidewalk, the kids will walk on the side of the street. But you never know, for a little kid or younger kid, they are not paying attention. So things like this could happen. So I want to bring this issue forward, to let everyone know that a big bus stop, impact bus stop, could increase this likelihood of some car accident because cars moving around a lot in that intersection. So I would, respectfully request, adding additional 1 or 2 or, whatever is allowed, to compromise, to within the budget or, to help us to meet our safety concerns, to add a stop or 2 to reduce the amount of students at that particular bus stop. So that will help reduce the traffic over there. So that's what I want to share with everyone today. And thank you for listening.
Thank you. Those are all our pre-registered speakers for this evening. Would anyone else like to speak on any item for up to 2 minutes?
Hi, my name is Mike Hatch, and first of all, I support everything my beautiful wife Lisa just said with regards to technology, as well as the other things. I want to thank Mr. Duramo for our conversation this morning. I got to listen in on that and was appreciative of your honesty and willingness to share that they, in the kind of the technology department, have no ability to police or maintain certain standards with computers that my wife just showed you. It is impossible for them to keep up. It is an infinite whack-a-mole of trying to keep things under control when it comes to our children's technology. And he was very honest in admitting that he can't do it. They can't do it. So something major needs to change there. And I wanted to bring that point up. Secondly, I wanted to point you to thorn.org. Thorn, THORN.org. They're doing incredible work with mitigating child sexual abuse material online. They do education and partnerships with folks like Google and other big organizations like that who are creating this content or this technology. And they're also working with educators and people who are parents who are trying to learn more about how to mitigate these effects on their children. In 2004, 450,000 files of CSAM, which is child sexual abuse material, was reported. In 2024, that was 85 million. I just attended a Thorn presentation where they talked about the fact that predators no longer need to just get in touch with the kids. And what they do is they will, through AI,
30 seconds.
pick innocent pictures that they have posted online, turn them into pornographic images and videos through AI, and then use them to exploit these children, okay? That's what we are allowing our kids access to through these devices, through the computers. And I would just, again, encourage you highly, and I'm speaking as someone who is a recovering pornography addict. I wanted to add that too, that nearly destroyed my marriage before it started. So I am very passionate about this subject.
Your time
I am
is
someone
up.
who discovered the internet. Thanks, I'll keep going. At Robert Morris University in 1999, I'm going to show my age because they had internet. It was the first time I had access to it. And our children in this district are incredibly vulnerable right now, and you have to do something about it. Thank you.
Do we have any more speakers on any voting on or any topic you'd like?
Hi, everyone. My name is Anthony Sermon. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. Lisa touched on, Mrs. Hatch touched on a questionnaire in the district that the children were receiving. I'm certain it was 5th grade. I believe it was 8th and then 11th. So I think it was every child ending in the district, leaving a school and going to the next, advancing to another school. This particularly affected me and my family when my daughter came home and shared with me that I think she just realized that to her, this was foreign language. This was something that was not for her as a 11-year-old leaving 5th grade and a 10-year-old coming in. She saw this questionnaire and the question said, the environment at my school, and we all want to be respectful of everybody's beliefs. but it says the environment at my school is respectful of my race, religion, sexual orientation, gender, and culture. I believe in respecting everyone, but I also believe that it's not NA's job to roll out the term sex in front of my child, my young daughter, who has never heard that word before. It came in front of everybody in this board, and somehow this entered into a questionnaire that was placed in front of my child. So you can imagine my anger when I heard about this. And I guess you all have reasons for why you thought that was a good idea at the time. It's my hope. I've actually had people in this very room argue they're proud of the fact that this was placed in the questionnaire. Very smugly, by the way. But I'll say this.
30 seconds.
It's my hope and my strong hope that what I've heard, that this is no longer going to be present on the questionnaire. I think it's important to ask if you feel supported, but ask in a general way. Do you feel supported in every way possible? Because that is important. But it's not your job to teach my child about or introduce a concept to them. I just hope that gets resolved. I'm going to be watching it closely, and we'll be coming to these meetings, and there's a lot more behind me in support of this.
Time is
I'm
up.
just coming as a representative. And I'll say this, though. Issues like this are being watched very closely. So you should examine your conscience as you move forward in these matters.
Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak to this evening? Mr. Harrison.
Good evening, John Harrison, McCandless. Wasn't planning on speaking tonight until I heard 3 speakers just speak. All I can say is be lucky my daughter was not one of the ones that got that survey. Because if you're saying it only happened to 5th graders, 8th graders, and 11th graders, and parents didn't know that was coming out as a warning, we're setting ourselves up for so many problems, legal problems that we cannot afford to have or that we want to have. And I don't know who the person was that's on the board that gave somebody an attitude about the fact that their daughter had these questions on there. Is a disgrace. We need to think about what we're doing. We teach kids. You're supposed to bring them up safe and smart. From what I'm hearing, we're not doing either, which is a huge letdown for this district. So I'd advise, if we're putting out these types of surveys to kids, that more than just the administration, the school board reviews them, that you maybe have a group of parents that actually get to vet those questions before they're presented to kids. Because the fact that you got 3 parents here tonight that have spoke about it, there's a whole lot of other ones I'm sure that don't even know it happened. And do the parents get the same questions as the kids? I'm guessing no. So again, it does not, for transparency, make the district look good. Think about what we're putting out there to these kids and having them, put them in a tough situation where they have to answer the question. Shouldn't be out there. Think about it before we do it.
Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak on any topic this evening? Okay, seeing none, we move on to our announcements and reminders. Does anyone on the board have an announcement or reminder? Mr. McClure.
I would be remiss if I did not this evening mention that NA was proud to host for, I think, the 12th year, the WPIAL diving finals for both AA and AAA this past weekend. Saturday being the AAA diving, at which time NA diver Ethan Maravich got first place for the boys, and Anthony Farah 5th place, also on the podium. So both of them earned points for the swim program that's going to meet the next 2 days down at Pitt. And then on the girls program, Maggie Lapina got first and Juliet Hood got 3rd. So really good showing out of the event. So thanks to NA for allowing us to hold it here. And it was a nice day. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McClure. Congratulations to the team and their coach.
I'll add something.
Mrs. Blackburn.
Thank you, Mrs. Warner. I just wanted to add something because I think a lot of people don't realize swimming and diving is actually one team. So by the divers doing so well, it's actually going to add points. I think the boys are getting 45 points to start the WPIAL meet, and the girls, I think, are getting 41 points. Don't quote me on the point total, but it's around there. So we're going to start out that far ahead of everyone else. And I know last year girls won states. If we didn't have the diving points, we would not have won. So it is a key element there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Blackburn. Anyone else? All right, seeing no additional comments, I adjourn this meeting.